Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Experience Team's iteration retro meeting. So we'll go over things that went well and things to improve on from this past 2 weeks. And it's June, I said June 2nd in the last meeting. It's June 3rd. That's my bad. So yeah, first of all, things that went well. Javi has the first point.
I just have a point for lots of vacation time. The vacation time was lovely. The 4-day weekend was lovely. I needed it. I think a lot of us did. So I appreciate that time.
I have the next point here. Nathan, it's been a solid 2 weeks now, I guess, that he's been with us. And it's been nice. He's wanted to pick up issues to learn his way around the various repos that we have. And so a lot of good things came down the pipe. He got a few like syntax fixes all the way to like kind of like a live production incident. Like he's gotten the full range. It's been really great having him here to pick up that stuff. I don't know. Jess, do you want to vocal? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he got to work on a project for the CEO in his second week, so and he killed it. So awesome. Go, Nathan.
I'm trying to write something in the document, but I can't tab back. Anyways, I do have something to say about something that went well, and I'll fill out the document after. So working on the CMS with the block components and slippers is, I actually closed a whole design issue because I didn't need it, because I worked out the whole entire layout and just the initial kind of research and wireframing stage. So I am noticing how much quicker, at least for me, I'm able to get things sorted without, having to be finicky about UI, just with these just with slippers and the Figma version of slippers anyways for me. So that for me went really well. It is why one of the reasons why my week was green work-wise. Thank you, whoever did that. It's not me tabbing around the document.
Cool. So we've got a few things to improve on. I think Javi has the first point.
Yeah, I just asked, does anyone have a good answer when friends and family days are? And so then Jess linked the link for the company family, friends and family day, to which I replied, wow, that was a direct answer, which I had not gotten for a while. So I appreciate that link. I didn't even know why friends and family day was a thing. I just thought it was like a GitLab thing for some reason, but yeah, I wasn't sure what the deal with that was. That got answered right away, so I guess it's not, we have a link for that, so I appreciate the whole thread discussion. Up next is Jess.
Yeah, so I just onboarded for the second time last week or the week before, and I kind of remembered from my first time onboarding that there were some issues. And so as I went along, if something came up, like a spelling error or something was confusing, or I thought it should be in a different place, I just noted it in this doc that I linked here, just to remind myself later that this needs to be fixed. And pretty much almost all of them are very small things. But just because I've went through onboarding and was still working, I'm kind of catching up now, and I haven't really had a chance to actually address any of them. So if anyone else wants to take a stab at them, like I said, they're usually pretty small things. But I thought it'd be just a nice way to kind of fix things as we go. Because I think oftentimes when you're onboarding, like, oh, that sucked. And then you're like, oh, I'm never gonna look at that again. So why bother? So just trying to be a little proactive there.
I think I've got the next one. Yeah, there was on the weekend, a handbook issue was pointed out that styles weren't loading properly, and it was really, really isolated. None of us could reproduce. It seemed to only be people in New Jersey and Maryland, a certain area. But yeah, we couldn't reproduce, which made it really difficult to troubleshoot. And it came down to kind of a different version of slippers was being served to certain people. So we needed to flush our cache, which would cause it to grab the new version of slippers. And Lauren helpfully pointed me to where the infrastructure alert issues are, which pages the infrastructure team. but I opened that issue and it's been 3 days and it still hasn't been like actioned. So I don't know if there's a better way to go around like getting infra's attention, or if like we just ended up fixing it ourselves by re-releasing slippers and crossing your fingers that it released everywhere, which it did. But yeah, that doesn't really prevent it from happening again. But yeah, the concerning things, I guess, are the infrastructure team alert didn't seem to cause any sort of alert. And yeah, how does this not happen again? And I think Javi has a few points.
Oh, I was just gonna say, how do we prevent this in the future? Just like,
Yeah, the big concern. Yeah,
I mean, can we request for like some access into some of that stuff? Like, I don't know if like Lauren or Brandon have more insight into that, but I feel like we probably should more than we currently have, but I don't know if that's been an avenue that has been explored in the past.
I will jump in here. I would say no. Let's not get any access to any of our infrastructure because I don't want it and I don't want to break anything because that is scary stuff. And we have like the best infrastructure teams in the world. So let's use them. But there is a hole because we asked for support. We didn't receive support. I have popped into the infrastructure lounge before and got a response that way. For this particular issue, I'm in the strong opinion that we need to implement cache vesting immediately for our assets, or else this will happen again. And we can do it with Webpack, but we just got to do it. And then I think we should read the infrastructure handbook first, and then add a section to ours that documents like a process of what to do. Okay, there's an outage. Like, what if about GitLab.com goes down and it's like offline? Like, do we know what to do? Do we know who to call? Yeah. So start building a process for that. And I put a side note of that. No big site pushes after Thursday. Ideally Wednesday, because in this case, it was something that went out and then there was a Friday and like all the reports came in. So when we came in on Monday and there was people out, it was like, ah. So I don't know, just keep that in mind. Like when we push the nav out, do it on a Wednesday or a Tuesday.
Let's do it on a Monday.
Yeah, like give yourself lots of time. Yeah.
cool. I'll add that to the action items. Yeah, to get some handbook documentation for like escalation and how we handle incidents. Cool.
Even like an on call or section. I mean, so people know where to like post things.
Yeah. Stephen, do you want to do the next one?
Oh yeah, kind of to what I said earlier, just about getting more proficient at writing issues and scoping things out. I've had the luxury of having to do that before with other team members or previous jobs with project managers. So it's kind of taken that and wearing that hat myself. So it's just getting more up to speed on that. See, it's sparked a little bit of conversation underneath it as I speak. So I don't think there's a good way or a bad way of doing it. It depends on the issue because they're all so different. But I guess for some of the ones that are on the top 15, they might benefit from something like a template that we have because we're going to do the same type of work, and that's why we've divided them out. And then some will require more work than others. And all I've been doing mostly is referencing other ones and copying that over. I don't know if that's a good practice or a bad practice, but it helps me because I'm not very proficient with it. So if I was to start from scratch, I would not have the faintest idea what to do. Jess, you've put a little comment underneath it.
Yeah, I was just saying that I've also been like copying and pasting from other issues, and I think taking the time to actually create a template will be better for my own usage, but also so other people, like you actually asked me this morning, Stephen, like oh, can you give me an example of an issue that uses whatever? And it could have just been like, oh, just choose, template A, B, C, or whatever, from the options, but that wasn't an option because I never created the template. So yeah, definitely something I also need to do better at.
Yeah, Tina, you have something underneath that again, and then Jess again. And
Yeah,
then
it was just about the templates. I was curious. For some reason, I had the impression that we didn't own templates, that we'd had to request them to be created. My mind is blown now that Jess says we can just create templates. I want to do that and use templates because I'm constantly copy pasting either your issues, Jess, or some of my old issues, depending on what the type of work is. Same with ethics.
Yeah, I made one way long ago, like October or November, and Becky helped me with it. So
Is it in the drop down?
Yeah, it's
No?
for the slippers, adding a new component to slippers. Just something I don't think it's ever actually been used, but it exists. But we should definitely templatize the things that we are using and are working for us.
yeah, maybe we can come up with
Mhm.
an agreed template.
Like
between
a
us,
design one, a
Yeah.
research one.
something like that. Yeah, maybe we can do a little workshop on it or something.
I feel like we need on the engineering side. We probably need one too because I just I just do whatever every time. But I don't know if
Well-
you all have better systems than I do.
Well,
It would be great to.
It would be good, yeah, I think, to do that, because if we can template stuff like that, it would streamline requests and it'll help us gauge and forecast for work.
Yeah,
Possibly.
I'm never quite sure what to put in the engineering ones. I usually just like create a issue that has like a title and like that's it. And I'm like, here, you take that. I don't know what you want there.
I copy and
Um,
paste Barker's engineering issues.
Mm.
See, Brandon is on my group. Both myself and himself are DRI. I'm DRI for design, DRI for engineering. So it's great. So I can just ask him whenever I need to, and he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that stuff. But it's not fair to just rely on somebody because that's a bottleneck. So if we can spread the workload and come up with some templates that may or may not work, and we can try and look at like a degree of flexibility. Like if we were to have a template for absolutely every type of issue, that's like a phone book of templates. That just wouldn't work. We only need to narrow it down to a few. We can deal with edge cases as they come, but for the most part, I think most of the requests and most of the issues that come to us are of a certain type or standard. So it would be cool if we could template them, because that would be beneficial to us overall as a team.
Is there an action item for this that we can do?
Great templates.
Yeah, I
Create an
think
issue to create templates. So like meta or something.
it's like with the chicken or the egg, that one, which is coming first.
I would put a request to trim them down. Some of the issue request templates are like gigantic. And I personally just like delete a bunch of stuff. Like, but here's the thing, here's the what. And then they have the short actions to like instantly apply the labels.
Yeah, totally agree.
Same. I hate it when they're so long and there's so much stuff to delete. Or when people use the templates, I get an issue and they didn't delete anything. So I don't know what the request is and what is just the template. Oh my gosh. It's the worst.
That is so annoying. You're
Yes.
reading through things, you're like, and then you click on it, it's like, here's the Google Doc, here's the Figma doc, and like, it isn't.
Yeah, because it's a placeholder link.
Sounds like we've touched on a very sensitive nerve here on a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Do you think it'd also be a good idea in this process to go through, because it sounds like we've had like older templates, would it be a good idea to clean some of those out? Okay.
Yeah, that's probably it. Good
But
idea.
are our templates just our templates? Like we don't want
was-
to delete
that's my
other
question.
people's templates.
No,
that
yeah,
are
we should only be
bound.
doing the ones that like our team has created. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we like preface them or put it like a
Yeah, they
tag
should
at the start of
be
them or something like
the dex prefix that Brandon's using.
something like that? That way it'd be easier to identify them.
Yeah.
And then we don't delete something that somebody actually uses on a daily basis and they'd be pissed.
Anything more on that one? Okay, pop down the next one. It wasn't FYI, but I moved that. there's this great epic for GitLab.com improvements and support. And there's many sub epics and many issues nested in that, all created by a team like prior to us. And there's lots of really great stuff in there. It would be great to knock some of it out. Q3 OKR? Question mark.
Are any of them pressing?
Oh yeah, like cache
Oh.
busting.
Oh,
Pipe, like there's stuff that's like, it doesn't get fixed, it might break. It's all like clearly organized. Like all the work's been done for us. We just we got to execute it. And there's still the discussion of like who's the owner of the repo and DRI and all that stuff, which is why this has been put on hold. But the stability of our site is really important.
Yeah.
Is something we could add to our sprint docs, in the section where it's just kind of like free for all, whoever can take it, or is there too much that it really needs like a full focus?
I don't know, but I feel like I kind of like feel we should prioritize that more within our sprints, but I just don't know how to like feasibly pull it off. Like I almost feel like we need to like section off even more of our sprint, like say just to do some of those things. So it's like, say like we spend a day for agency related stuff, we have to spend like 2 or 3 days for like technical debt, because or else it's like never going to get done. Like I don't think there's ever going to be a point where like that's like, oh, like let's not make new pages so that we can go do technical debt stuff. Like I think the thing is that like people will always want new stuff out, and it's like, how do we figure out a way to like work that stuff into like what we do day to day? I think that's challenging because that means we have to deliver less things, but like they want more things. I don't know.
I put a comment that like some companies will do like how there are hackathons or whatever, but like some companies will do a bug bashing week or whatever. So it's just like, our team would say we're not doing any work for this sprint or whatever, and you just clean out the backlog, like get whatever done that you can, close any issues that are like, stale or whatever. But you're right about like not delivering things. Maybe there's a way to like do it like one person at a time. Like I take a full sprint and just don't do work. I don't handle any new requests. I pick off as many issues as I can in our backlog or in this like issue or whatever. And then we alternate. Tyler does it and whatever. Like, maybe there's a way to like convince Michael that that's worthwhile. That like if one of us can focus on that stuff for a sprint.
It's like an agency sprint.
I really like the idea of that. And if Michael makes it to the end of this retro, I have a question for you. When do we get to work on the items that are going to make our work better and our work more efficient?
Perfect way to end the meeting. Cool.
Mic drop.
All right. Any last minute closing thoughts? Cool. I like ending there. Leave that open-ended, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.